This is the East Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. Welcome in. It is another edition of the East Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, where we are breaking down the biggest stories most weeks in, most weeks out, and out in districts 5 and 6 here in the great state of Idaho. The East Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com is presented by No Vape Idaho. That's Idaho Public Television's campaign to raise awareness about the dangers of youth vaping. Be smart, don't start. I'm Brandon Baney. I'm going to bring in Sean Kane before I sneeze.
Didn't even hear it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I could feel it coming, and I was like, I better mute my mic real quick and get you introduced here before I unleashed. So
yeah, well, sometimes you get out and that's that first ray of sunlight kind of makes you sneeze, and as most would describe me, I'm just a bright shining light of sunshine, so I get it.
Yeah, I think it's residuals from last week. Obviously we didn't do a show. I got pretty sick after boys state basketball, and so I might sound a little nasally and stuffed up still. I'm still feeling the after effects of it, but here we are, Sean. The show must go on. And so, sorry we missed last week. This week on the show, we'll kind of use it as a wrap up of everything that happened in the winter sports season. And then next week, we'll start diving into that spring sports scene. Sound all right?
Yeah, I told you my complaints about your plan, but I'll go ahead and continue.
Yes, as a spring sports coach, right? Sean is, of course, partial to the tennis, especially. The weather in East Idaho has been real up and down. There's been a lot of cancellations and stuff already.
Yeah. Our first week last week got canceled, but we ended up playing yesterday inside against Bonneville. So that was our first match, maybe the first spring sport completed in the Pocatello area that I know of, unless they've got to travel out of town for baseball or softball or something, but not a lot has actually come to fruition.
Yeah. So anyways, we figured this would be a good opportunity to take one last look at the season that was in the winter sports calendar. And so, Sean, let's start with wrestling, because the last time we got on and had a show, it was just ahead of the state wrestling tournament. We kind of broke down and identified the different teams we were going to be keeping an eye on and the individuals we were going to be keeping an eye on. I think the biggest story from East Idaho in terms of a team story at state wrestling was the Thunder Ridge girls winning their first championship in school history, toppling Eagle, who had been the only other team in Idaho, the brief history of Idaho state sanctioned girls wrestling. Eagle had been the only team that had won the title previously. Thunder Ridge topples them and they take home the team title.
Yeah. And, on the mat chat that you guys did every week, a couple people were, they felt pretty solid about Thunder Ridge girls, and man, they got it done. I got to go to championship Saturday because I was here in Pocatello, and I saw a few of them wrestle, and it was just a good job. Athletic director Travis Hobson was there, and very cool environment. And I had never been to wrestling where girls had been involved. I obviously didn't get to watch last year, so to be down there, championship, they've got the 4 mats, and they've just plugging in all the championships. And I saw a couple of those Thunder Ridge girls in there, and it was pretty cool.
Yep. Okay, so Thunder Ridge won the title, only had one individual champion, Sean, but they had 5 placers overall. And that was really the key, especially in girls, where currently it's all one classification. If you can get 5 placers, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, you get points from all the places, right? It becomes a numbers game. So, of course, if you have a lot of people in championships, it's kind of a shoo-in, but all those different places equals points, and really they were able to kind of spread it out through the weight classes and gain enough points to be the champions. And with all the classifications, it could be pretty tough, right? Into all the different teams and things, right? So for Thunder Ridge, kind of strategically, I think to get their wrestlers in the right spot was just a phenomenal job and pulled it off well.
Yeah, and not only did Thunder Ridge take first, but second place went to an East Idaho school, American Falls, the 3A Beavers, 83 points. They had kind of similar to Thunder Ridge. They had one champion and then 4 placers. So way to go, Lady Beeves, for second place.
Yeah, just, American Falls is just, girls or boys has always been kind of a good mecca of wrestling, right? They've just done a good job, and congrats to them.
Yeah, so your individual champions for Thunder Ridge, sophomore Shauna Anderson won at 185 pounds. For American Falls, it was a sophomore, Courtney Hunt. She won the title at 132. We did have 2 other champions from East Idaho. Of course, Kiana Conrad, the great freshman from Blackfoot, at 126. She completed the year undefeated, I believe. And then at 100 pounds, Sean, the lightest weight, Salmon gets their first champion ever in girls wrestling. Junior Raylyn O'Connor wins the title there for the Savages.
Yeah, just really cool. And just, it's always kind of interesting, right? In those lower weights, kind of, it seems like you see a little more of upsets can happen sometimes there, but good job by Salmon to get their first state championship.
For sure. Let's go to the next biggest story, which I think was at the 2A, 1A meet, where we all kind of predicted it at the start of the year. Well, Brian and I, anyways, on the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast, and going into state, we all thought this is what would happen. The Malad Dragons bring home the 2A championship with 183.5 points. They beat New Plymouth, who took second by almost 20 points, actually just over 20 points. So really impressive. And the most impressive thing about it, Sean, was Malad did this without a single champion, but they had 9 placers. And so unusual to see a team win the title without any individual champions.
Yeah, super tough to do without at least 1 or 2 to get those points, but 9 placers is that's enough to get the lead that large. It's kind of crazy, and it's interesting too, because Kellogg got 3, had 9 placers too, right? But they only took third, so those placements just were a little higher than Kellogg, and New Plymouth had 2 champions. But wow, what a job by Malad, and all weights, right? 9 placers. How many weight categories are there?
I think there's 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So more than half place.
15.
15. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So more than half, right? In a placing position. So that's just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable for Malad. Congratulations there. And congratulations to Grace. They were the top finishing 1A team, right? 2A and 1A is combined. So Grace gets to bring a banner home as well as the highest placing 1A team from the competition. And Grace actually had 2 individual champions, Sean. Sophomore Carter Kimball, who's now 2 for 2 in his high school career, at 113 pounds. He won his freshman year, won his sophomore year, so he's on a good trajectory. Cole Younger, a freshman from Grace, won the 98-pound title, so he wins in his first go-round as well.
Yeah,
way
to start it out, right? Freshman from Grace, 98-pound, and you see that in wrestling. Like, if you start, it's always, can you get those 4 in a row? It's such a tough feat, but you have to start, at the 9th grade level, and he did it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and Younger, just one of 2 freshmen from East Idaho to win state titles. Ryrie freshman James Hansen won the 145-pound title as well. And then on the flip side of that, some really strong veterans, right? Tucker Bowen wraps up his incredible career at Soda Springs. He's going on to wrestle at the D1 level next year for Wyoming. He ends up with his 3rd title in a 4-year career at 126 pounds. And then you had a pair of West Side Pirates as well. Colton Gunderson, the senior, wins his 2nd state title at 160. You had also junior Gavin Peterson win at 120 for the Pirates. And then Hyatt Beck, the great senior from Aberdeen, had been close so many times, caps his career with a 152-pound title in his final go-round. Way to go.
Yeah, Hyatt Beck, fun football player to watch. So congrats to him. That's awesome. He went 6th, 3rd, and then a 1st. So that's, man, you climb the mountain.
Definitely. Next biggest story, I thought, was at the 4A tournament, Sean, where you had, for the first time since 1969, a tie for the championship. Didn't involve any East Idaho teams. It was Bishop Kelly and Minico. They both tied for the title. They were co-champions. But even more remarkable was that there was a tie for third place between Blackfoot and Lakeland. I mean, the odds of having one tie at the podium is significant. The odds of having two ties for both first and third, it's astronomical.
Yeah, and I think I even texted you like, can it end in a tie? And they're like, yeah, because for tennis example, could it end in a tie? But we have some tiebreakers, like most people in championship rounds or something. But I had no idea it could even end in a tie. So that was something new for me to learn. And then to have two of them, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So congratulations to Blackfoot for a top 3 finish. Somebody asked, Logan Green asked on the Treasure Valley Prepcast earlier today, what happens to that second place trophy? Nobody really gets that, right?
Well, doesn't still someone come in second or no?
No, they were co-champions, and then you had co-third place finishers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Sean, maybe you can get some reduced price merchandise from the IHSAA, that second place trophy.
I think they're gonna have to pay more money, right, to make another championship banner, right?
Yeah, and a second trophy, right?
Yeah. So
yes. Yeah, I don't know what happens there. It's very interesting for sure. And Century took 5th as well. So good job for the Diamondbacks to finish in the top 5. And then individually, Sean, we had a pair of East Idaho wrestlers finish their careers in the ultra rare 4-time state champion club. You had Mac Mauger from Blackfoot. Of course, we've talked about him ad nauseum. He's moving on to Oklahoma State. And then Coulter Burton from Century started his career at American Falls, transferred to Century this year, but he also finishes the job and goes 4 for 4 also. Just incredible.
Yeah, I got to see both those matches, Mauger and Burton. So that was kind of cool to be there for those moments of them winning 4. And Coulter Burton held up a 4 to like his crowd, side of the crowd. It was kind of cool to see. So congrats to both those guys.
Yeah, and I think I got that flipped in my head. Mac Mauger is actually going to wrestle at Missouri. It's Coulter Burton that's going to Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Oklahoma State. Yep, correct.
Yep. So 2 D1 4-time champions at the 4A level. Yeah, we got pretty spoiled there. Other individual champs from East Idaho, Saxton Scott of Idaho Falls won at 120 pounds. A little bit of a controversial finish there in terms of there was a stall tactic basically used, and it was, it's very rarely called, but it was in this case. And so the Bishop Kelly fans weren't very happy with that, but congratulations to Saxton Scott from Idaho Falls. He earned it. I mean, you still got to go out and earn it, and he absolutely did that. You also had, I guess that was it, besides Mauger and Burton. So way to go to our 3 champs from East Idaho.
Yeah, congrats. It was fun to watch some of those happen, and yeah, just a good job, and a lot of good East Idaho wrestlers too that didn't win championships, but all did very well.
Yep. East Idaho goes 3, 4, and 5 in the team race at the 3A tournament. Sean, American Falls takes 3rd. South Fremont takes 4th. Snake River takes 5th. Individual champions from South Fremont, we had Bowden Banta. He's now a 3-time state champion at 120 pounds. He's a junior, Sean, so next year Bowden will have the chance to become the newest member of the 4 for 4 club. Way to go, Bowden Banta at 120. Jackson Packer, the senior from South Fremont, wins the title at 126 as well. From American Falls, we had Nathan Gugelman win at 132, his second title for the junior. Mason Aiken won his first career state title at 138 as well. And then we had Kelton Reynolds from Snake River, just a sophomore, win at 113. And we had Marsh Valley's Riker Gibson win at 160. And Teton's Riker Fulmer win at 170. So East Idaho did pretty well in terms of bringing home individual titles from that 3A meet.
Yeah, Riker Fulmer, he went 6th, 2nd, and then 2 back-to-back titles in a row. So he did a great job as well. And you see that in a lot of those East Idaho wrestlers, they placed almost all 4 years, and then maybe get a title in there too. But what a phenomenal job! What it takes to maintain, to keep doing that for 4 years is just unreal, and just hard work from those kids.
And then at the 5A meet, Madison took fourth. Meridian won their fourth consecutive title, but Madison was the highest finishing East Idaho team in fourth. We had one champion. It was from Highland, Sawyer Anderson, the sophomore at 106, Sean. He's now 2 for 2 in his high school career. One at his freshman year, one at his sophomore year. He's laying the groundwork.
Yeah, we got two more maybe, but he did a phenomenal job too. And Madison, kind of talked about Madison. So I feel like that fourth place finisher is really good. They had 9 placers. In 5A it was a little different. You kind of had to have the championship, right? And Meridian just too many, but Madison 9 placers, fourth place. They were kind of under the radar, I think, all year, but congrats to Madison for that trophy.
Yep. Let's talk about state basketball here, Sean. But first, if you're from Idaho and you're between 13 and 18 years old, enter the No Vape video contest to expose the shadowy commercial tobacco marketing tactics behind vaping. You can create and upload your 90-second vape bashing masterpiece, and then you could, if it's selected as a winner, you could win a portion of the more than $10,000 in prize money being awarded. Deadline to enter is April 1st. Winners will be announced May 1st. Raise your voice about the dangers of vaping and win big cash prizes from No Vape Idaho. That's No with a K. It's right in the top right corner of your screen. KNOW, No Vape Idaho. Yeah, good contest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead. I thought you were going to say something else.
I was going to say we've got vape detectors in the bathrooms now at school, so you probably can't film in the bathroom, but I'm just saying there's some content there.
Right.
Don't film in the bathroom. Never mind. Basketball 1A22.
Yep. Okay, let's talk state basketball, Sean. I think the big story is Pocatello, right? Breaking through finally. I was joking with some of the guys over in Boise last week that it's Pocatello and Hillcrest. Everybody knew that's what the matchup was going to be. 3rd year in a row. I'm like, this is like Rocky 3. I feel like we're just having this epic trilogy of battles, and Pokey finally comes through and they defeat Hillcrest 73-67. Congratulations to both the Thunder and the Knights for making it to the championship for the 3rd year in a row.
Yeah, what a phenomenal. It was maybe the best game out of any division.
Ooh, I think that 2A was, Ambrose won by 3 over Coal Valley. Coal Valley went on a 17-0 run to get back into the game in the second half, had a chance at the game tying 3 as time expired.
Okay, that one was pretty good too. I just thought this game between Hillcrest and Pocatello was just a lot of fun to watch. We knew the stars. I think the stars, Isaac Davis, Julian Bowie did things, but Drake Contreras with 20 points in that championship game was, wow, it was unreal. So congrats to him. But yeah, I thought that game was really good, and Thunder to beat Hillcrest. What a great job. And a lot of seniors on that Thunder team. And wow, it was just a good game.
It was so phenomenal. Julian Bowie went down with a pretty, what we thought was a significant injury, in the first half. It was right in front of me. I was sitting, courtside at Media Row, and you could hear a pin drop in the arena. You knew he was going to come back and finish it out. Played in the second half, made some really tremendous plays down the stretch. I thought Parker Smith played well throughout the entire tournament. And for Hillcrest, they just... late in the game, Ike Sutton was penetrating and just wasn't finding a lot of success at the rim. Pocatello really shut the water off on Ike Sutton down the stretch as he was trying to find ways to score the basketball. I thought that was the key.
Yeah, and the other key it goes along with that. I just thought the Thunder's defense was really good. They wouldn't leave people. They wouldn't leave people off screens. They stayed home on defense, and it didn't leave a lot of open opportunities for Hillcrest. A lot of times Hillcrest drives, penetrates, someone leaves, finds an open man, but Pocatello's defense was just it was just really, really good in that game and throughout the tournament. You can just look at the scores and see, how defense can help you win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely suffocated Ridgeview. I mean, they only allowed 46 points in the semifinal, only allowed 42 to Sandpoint in the opening round. And the Jason Turner, who's kind of covers the high school beat for the newspaper in Logan, Utah, and they cover Preston, obviously. He had a pretty succinct tweet, I thought, after Hillcrest and Pocatello both won in just blowout fashion in the semifinals. I'm sure you saw this, Sean. He basically said, "Yep, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that Preston was the third best team in Class 4A this year."
Yeah, and I think and I also think Blackfoot, it was really a really good team. And I think Blackfoot doesn't get Hillcrest first round. Blackfoot's maybe the third place finisher out of the tournament. Personal opinion. I think Blackfoot was really good too out of East Idaho. That's just a tough first round, your district opponent first round. And they came back at one point in that first round game at halftime. But yeah, Preston probably not happy. But unfortunately, that's how it is, and you either got to make it or you don't. And I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, that pretty much that's the deal, right? It is what it is. Blackfoot did give Hillcrest more of a fight in that first round than Bishop Kelly did in the semifinals. Certainly, Blackfoot did get all the way to the consolation final, where they fell to Twin Falls by only 4 points, 62-58, wrapping up the tournament run there for Blackfoot. And that was it in terms of East Idaho champion, Sean. A little quieter on the boys front than it was on the girls side, but we still had a lot of great teams advance far into the tournament, including at the 3A tournament, not Snake River, but Teton. How about Teton getting to the championship game? They beat they had by far, they beat the toughest set of opponents they could possibly beat, right? They came in as the 5 seed. They beat number 4 McCall Donnelly 67-58 in the opening round. They beat number 1 Snake River in the semis 66-59, and then they played number 2 Bonners Ferry in the championship and hung tough, but ultimately fell 54-47. It was a great run for Teton at the state tourney.
Yeah, Teton just was phenomenal. I honestly didn't see that coming. I'll be honest, but once they won that first game, man, I watched that and I felt like, man, Teton they could win this. And just Bonners Ferry a little too much in the fourth quarter. Just a few more points in the fourth quarter kind of was the difference. But Teton, what a phenomenal run. Man, kind of slept on Teton entering into this tournament.
Well, and people slept on East Idaho in general because the 3 teams that were there, Teton, Snake River, and Marsh Valley, all got to the semifinals. Sean, Marsh Valley, the 6 seed, toppled Filer, the 3 seed, and it really wasn't close. 61-43. They fell in a very tight game to Bonners Ferry in the semis, 64-57, and then they had to play, Snake River for the 5 millionth time in the third place game. Snake River wins there 65-50. So 3 of the top 4 teams in state all came from East Idaho. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, good job. Just shows the depth and the talent level at that, in East Idaho. Those 3A teams, they battle each other. Like you said, Snake River playing Marsh Valley again. When you just play really good teams all the time, you're only going to get good results.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron. That's the old saying there. So, okay, let's talk about what happened at let's just go, because from there, that was really it in terms of, championship appearances. So let's talk about the 5A tournament, Sean. We're coming in, Madison was the number 4 seed. I think a lot of people thought that the Bobcats should have been, seated higher than that. And essentially they had to go up against Hawaii, the number 1 seed in the semifinals. It was a close competitive game. I thought really of the tournament, it was the toughest opponent Hawaii faced.
I would agree. Yeah,
it was called just short.
Yeah, it was, it was tough. And you go back and look at it. I just couldn't see how Madison wasn't the 2 or 3 seed, just based on, beating Pocatello by 25 earlier in the season. I mean, it was hard for me to see Madison not being ranked higher than they were. Nonetheless, Madison gave the championship team the hardest game. I think it kind of comes down to what you said about Madison earlier, is Madison's maybe 6 guys, right? 6 or 7 guys. Hawaii's 25 guys, and then a couple in the back room. And because, Hawaii, their main player doesn't have a good game. 3 or 4 other guys have a good game. It's hard if one of the Madison guys isn't getting it going. It's hard to find those points. But I think Madison played well. I think Madison Hawaii definitely could have been the championship game. And imagine the Idaho Center if that was the case. I'm sure it was still packed with 2 Boise teams, but man, Madison travels maybe the best out of anyone I know anywhere. So that would have been quite the game. But nonetheless, that's what happened. Madison, I think, played phenomenal. It was a great team. They were fun to watch all year.
Yeah, so Madison ends up falling in that semifinal by 12, 63-51. They turn around and beat Coeur d'Alene in the third place game, 62-45. I think Coeur d'Alene was just spent. They had just lost in overtime to Timberline on a 3-pointer, right? Basically in the final seconds. And so congratulations to Madison for finishing third there at state. Let's talk 2A, where the West Side Pirates found themselves in the third place game, Sean, on Saturday. West Side took out North Fremont in the opening round, 59-48. Now, all year long, when we have our statewide boys basketball media poll, right? And I get to vote. I'm just one of, several people across the state that votes on this. All year long, I pretty much had West Side in my top 5 pretty consistently. I just thought they're so well coached. Tyler Brown's been coaching for such a long time. They've got great athletes. And yeah, they took it on the chin because they scheduled aggressively and had some tough opponents. But I just always thought the talent was there. I should have stuck with my gut, because then when it came to the broadcaster picks that we did on social media, I picked North Fremont to not just win that matchup. I picked North Fremont to win the whole thing. And that's what cost me the win overall. Otherwise, wow, I would have tied Scott for the title. That one really hurt me. So it was an impressive win there for West Side in the opening round. And then they almost beat Coal Valley Christian, the number 1 seed in the semifinals, right? They fall by 3, 56-53. They turn around and then they win by 3 in the third place game over Nampa Christian, 61-58. They fall by 3 to Nampa Christian as well in the third place game, 61-58. So 6 points away essentially from playing for the championship and or coming home with the third place trophy.
Yeah, I mean, West Side it was a team you just couldn't just throw away. I had picked kind of West Side to win that one, but I wouldn't have been surprised if North Fremont won. But man, I thought Coal Valley would win the whole thing. So if West Side would have beat Coal Valley, man, I would have been in big trouble. But what a phenomenal job. And then funny thing is, North Fremont in first play for that consolation game. So a couple of East Idaho teams making it for a trophy run as well.
Yep. And North Fremont won that 52-46. The final there to wrap up the 2A tournament. Let's go 1A D1, Sean, where we had Butte County. They came in as the number 4 seed. They beat Oakley in a pretty entertaining first round game. And then they had the unenviable task of playing Lapway, the top dog in the semifinals. I was talking to Mindy Gammett, Butte County's coach, before the game, and I basically asked her, I said, hey, what is the game plan here against Lapway? And she goes, we're going to swing, they're going to swing at us and we're going to swing back. And I kind of shot her one of these, like an eyebrow. And then she was just like, yep, we're going to try and run and gun with them. And she goes, it's going to be either like really great or, we could be behind the 8 ball pretty quick here. Unfortunately, it was that second one. They didn't score at all in the first quarter. They were down 16-0 after 1. Now they played Lapway pretty much even the rest of the way. It was just one bad quarter that kind of doomed Butte County there. And then they had to turn around in the third place game and play Potlatch. They fell again in a very tight game, 69-57. But this was the first time Butte County was at state in like 7 or 8 years. I mean, Grace has just had a stranglehold on this district. And so the celebration in itself of getting to state was incredible. Coach Gamet did tell me after state in an email that she's, stepping down from coaching the boys. She's got some younger kids coming up. And her son Braxton Gamet was a senior and just finished up playing. And so she's going to kind of chase around her kids instead of doing the coaching thing. And so I thought it was a great way to finish, getting Butte County back to state for the first time in a long time.
And a win, right? And a first round win. So not just getting there, getting a win, getting an opportunity to play the best team in the state. And, you got to. Not many people can say we played the best team. And in the semifinal of state, they got there and fell a little short in the third place. But, I mean, if you're playing for third place, you have nothing to hang your hat on, because that's the ultimate goal, is to get some sort of trophy, and just a good job. So good way to ride out on the sunset.
For sure. Don't just take my word for it, though. Joel Richardson was there broadcasting with me, and he says in the chat, without that brutal first quarter, would have been much closer. Pirates essentially won the other 3 quarters.
Wow.
Yep, and that is true. And Joel says, Coach Gamet was one of my favorite coaches. Yeah, me too, Joel. Me too. We were spoiled. We had great coaches from every team at that 1A D1 state tournament. It was a lot of fun for sure. So way to go, Butte County. The groundwork has been laid. Now we'll see if they can get back again next year. And we'll wrap up with the 1A D2 tournament, Sean, where we had Rockland and Water Springs. This happened last year. Rockland and Water Springs got to state. They both lost and had to face each other. I'm trying to remember. Last year, I think it was for third place. I could be misremembering. This year, it was for the consolation final. Either way, Rockland and Water Springs meet up again. Rockland gets the win 45-33. So the Bulldogs walk out with a trophy. Water Springs at least got to Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're still playing on Saturday, I think you got to feel good. I mean, it's hard, right? If you're in that loser side, it really kind of shows your grit as a team to still go out and compete hard. Both teams did, and unfortunately, they had to play each other, right? Same conference opponents, but Rockland able to come away with a trophy, and fabulous career for Teague Matthews, right? I'm sure. I didn't get to see too many of these games. I'm hoping he got a few dunks to go home with, but yeah, you gotta like a little Teague Matthews.
Yeah, for sure. It was a good run for all of our teams from East Idaho that were there competing at the state basketball tournament. And now, Sean, one final basketball event, and that is this Saturday. It is the annual statewide All-Star Games. The best players from around the state will come up to my neck of the woods, Sean, up here in Coeur d'Alene. They're going to play at North Idaho College on Saturday. There'll be a girls game and then a boys game, and there'll be a 3-point contest and a slam dunk competition. And this year, the format for the first 20 years of the event was Team Region versus Team Metro. Team Metro is basically Boise. Team Region is like the rest of the state.
Oh yeah.
So it was like the whole state versus Boise, right?
Normal.
Well, for year number 21, we decided let's switch it up a little bit. A lot of all-star games now are having drafts, right? Where celebrities or players kind of draft the teams. We had the coaches draft the players this year. We kind of said, here's the pool of players. We flipped a coin. They drafted the teams. And so from East Idaho, Todd Barber from the Rigby Trojans is one of the coaches for the girls team. And then for the boys team, for the boys game, Dave Austin from Hillcrest is one of the coaches. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see. It was fun having those guys in on the draft. Of course, Coach Barber's daughter, Cambry Barber, is on his team, and so is Miley Graham from Rigby. It's going to be fun to watch those two compete. On the boys' side, unfortunately, a lot of the guys from East Idaho, Isaac Davis and Ike Sutton from Hillcrest and Julian Bowie from Pocatello, couldn't make it to the game. They were still selected, and they'll have that all-star designation, but weren't able to attend. So, Coach Austin is coaching a lot of North Idaho guys and some Treasure Valley guys.
Ty Brown from Teton.
He's got a player. He's got one East Idaho guy on his team, so that'll be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be fun to mix and match the teams up a little bit this year. But
yeah, so who's going to win the 3-point contest out of the girls?
Okay, on the girls' side, just asking me to handicap it, I think I'd go with, and this could be my North Idaho bias coming through here, but Maddie Mitchell from Coeur d'Alene.
I'm going to go Northern Idaho as well, but I'll go Sophia Sofelt.
Okay, from Lake City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. We both saw both of them play at the 5A girls state tournament that we were on the call for, Sean. So that doesn't surprise me there. Boys 3-point contest. It's tempting to go with Case Why Not from Lapway, of course. But I think I'm going to go with a kid from Coal Valley Christian. His name is Eli Kingery, and he's a pretty dead eye shooter. So I think that's who I'm going to go with there. But I mean, definitely could be Case Why Not from Lapway as well. But what do you think?
I kind of like Eli Sugarman because I've seen him play before. He's a pretty good little 3-point shooter. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go a little dark horse, Eli Sugarman.
Okay, from Ambrose.
Yep.
And then dunk competition. What do you think? Ty Brown's going to be in the mix for sure. He's a great high jumper in track and field. He can definitely elevate. What do you think for the dunk contest?
Let me look at these. I'll say I'll go Ty Brown. I would go Ty Brown. He can get up. That guy can jump, man.
So Ty Brown's going to be in the mix for sure. I think Case Why Not, obviously from Lapway, can elevate as well. I got to assume I don't get to see Hawaii play a lot, but Liam Campbell is going to be there from Hawaii, the USC commit.
Yeah,
I got to assume he can elevate and flush too. And then you've got, Melba's got, in fact, there's cousins, right? Cash Buse for Skyview, Cutter Buse for Melba. Cash is probably 6'6". Cutter is 6'7". You got to figure the cousins are going to be dueling in the dunk contest as well. Could be pretty fun.
Yeah. And then is Riker Apple the tall player from Middleton?
Yeah.
So maybe I think he could probably throw down too. He might be a dark horse there. I'll go there with that. Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. It all starts at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, Saturday, live and free on IdahoSports.com from North Idaho College, Sean. It's going to be a lot of fun. And to see the full rosters, you can go to our website, IdahoSports.com. It's right there at the top of the homepage.
Yeah, that'll be great. Are you broadcasting it?
Yeah, so it's, I'll be there. Paul Kingsbury will be there. Logan Green will be there. Ryan Skaggs, we're going to set loose with the wireless mic. He's just going to go around and do some interviews with different...
I'll let him know how it works.
Yeah, players and coaches for sure. So yeah, it's
better give him questions. Better not let him come up with his own.
Oh, wow. Low blow. I know he's watching too, so I'm gonna let you two hash that out.
I only read what's on the teleprompter.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny for sure. No, he's gonna do great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. A fun weekend of all-star competition. Again, Saturday starting 2 p.m. Mountain Time on IdahoSports.com. All right, Sean. That's it for winter sports. The book is officially closed. Moving forward, starting next week, it's all about spring sports, baby.
Sounds good. I'm in it. I'm living it. Spring sports is that nice time where we just don't play for a while and then get a play. But hopefully the weather gets better. And I know we don't want to talk about the weather, but spring sports is so weather dependent. But we've got some East Idaho's got track stars for days. We got baseball. Will the Thunder come back strong again this year in baseball? Boys baseball. They tag me in all their stuff on Twitter. I gotta give them a shout out. I'm pretty excited to see them. And softball. Pocatello softball is going to be really strong too. And then all the other. There's just going to be a lot. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I did want to say one quick note before we did get out of here. I did see some pretty sad news from the Sugar Salem community. Mac Chappell, former baseball standout, and just a great young man. He, had graduated and was serving on a church mission in New Jersey, passed away pretty suddenly and pretty unexpectedly in his sleep. He was only 19 years old. And so I know there's a lot of grieving and a lot of sorrow in the hearts of the Sugar Salem community right now. I just want to say our thoughts and prayers are are with the Chapel family and the Digger family at large, as everybody kind of processes this. It's always sad when a life is gone, so young. So just wanted to offer our condolences there.
Yeah, big time. It's hard. I saw that too. It's one of those things you see, and it's even hard for me to process, right? So thanks for bringing that up, Brandon. And definitely in our thoughts and prayers for the Diggers and all everyone, that community. They all know each other, right? I mean, it's not like it's any, it's not, I'm sure everyone knows them, and and that's just tough. But the good thing is that's a good community, and if anyone can come back stronger and a rally, it's the Diggers. Let's be honest.
2 years ago, I was at the 3A state baseball tournament, and Sugar Salem was playing Snake River in the opening round. And it was extra innings. It was the bottom of the 8th. Sugar Salem, it was Mac Chappell was at the plate, hit a deep fly ball to center. The center fielder from Snake River misplayed it, led to the game-winning run and the walk-off for the Diggers. So that's something that will always stick with me, that walk-off base hit from Mac Chappell to give Sugar Salem the win in extra innings at state. It was pretty remarkable. So yeah, our thoughts and prayers again are with the Sugar Salem community and the Chapel family. And all you can do is, one day at a time, right? Take it one day at a time. And soon the baseball team will be back out on the diamond competing. And now they have a higher purpose to play for this year. So, yeah,
I mean, it's a great team already. And I don't know if they need any more fuel for their fire, but I guarantee the Diggers know where to put the gas, and they'll use it.
Yep, for sure. So, all right. Well, we will get out of here then. Hopefully the weather cooperates with all of our spring sports, athletics, and activities, and hopefully you travel safely to wherever you're headed. We'll see you back here next week for another edition of the East Idaho Prepcast. For Sean Kane, I'm Brandon Baney. Thanks for tuning in on IdahoSports.com.